Alright, hello. So today I decided that I would decide to try my hand at playing um, something I found online, which is let me get up here. Uh, they're called Narnia solo games. I found it online. It's from the 80s. It's a solo RPG based in Narnia. Part of it is kind of strange. There are some spelling issues that I saw just in the beginning. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how it goes. Uh, I'm very new to this, like setting this whole thing up, and I'm sorry for the blinding sunlight behind me, but can't be helped. Can't be helped at all. So far, I took a look at the book. So the book uses dice. Let me see if I can get them in camera. I'm looking at the corner over here. It uses the dice, and what happens is throughout it will ask you to roll. And so you roll two dice, and you add them together, and then you add the modifier, which is on your character sheet here. Hopefully you can see all this. I know I have OBS running in the corner. I know that's might be frustrating, but it'll look nicer in just a little bit. So, right here you see the character sheet, and it has all your skills, and then the treasures and equipments and notes. And there's a key sheet, and they're saying that the key sheets will, there'll be things, and they'll be like, check this off, or write this down, or whatever. So I didn't really use this. What I ended up doing was I have the notebook right here. Let me get rid of that. And so what I did was I kind of tried my best to emulate it. So I have part of a character done. Now, I did not like the plus ones everywhere, and that can be changed. So right now we're going to write our main character for this, and I have the name Chandler Bernard as it. I don't know if that's time appropriate, like era appropriate name, but we're just going to roll with it today. What we are going to do is we're going to their suggested character had all of these plus ones on there for everything, and part of me kind of feels like that is kind of boring to play the whole game like that, where it's just even across the board with everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change some of these modifiers. Now, the book said that when you change it, the pamphlet thing, when you change it, you have to, anything that does not have a +1 has a -2 automatically, which is kind of weird. But so what we're going to do, we are going to rearrange this. So for Chandler Bernard, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to, first off, I wanted to make him more of a talker per se. He's relies on his quick wit and smooth moves, I would say. So we're going to take fighting out, and we're going to replace that with a -2, which means we're going to bump. I want to bump. Let's bump talking up to a +2. And then, let's see here. I'm going to pull this back up, see what each of these are right down here. So fighting skill, this skill reflects your ability to fight. So we're kind of lowering that. Maybe he's not really into throwing punches. The trickery skill, use the skill when trying to move without being seen or heard. So sneaking, trying to steal something. I like that. I think I'm going to move. I think I'm going to get that one as well. Use this skill for the action skill to perform certain physical activities, running away, swimming, climbing, tracking, hunting, riding. The talking skill reflects your ability to talk and gain information from intelligent beings. So that's the first one that we have. The perception skill, this skill reflects how much information you gather through observation and exploration. And then finally, inner strength. not really a skill. It is a representation of your goodness and your resistance to the forces of evil. During an adventure, it may change due to your actions and reactions. So what I'm going to do is, let's see here. Let's do. Let's take action out. Maybe he's not very physically all there, which would reflect the fighting and the action. And let's bump his trickery up. So that's kind of a little bit more varied. I don't want to mess with perception or inner strength. I don't feel like he should have a +3 in any of these. I feel like a +2 is appropriate. And I don't really want to knock perception and inner strength, per se. And then in the treasures and equipment, they had a shilling and like a marble or something in their example. I don't really know, so I just put a pencil, a notepad, and 1 shilling. I don't even know how much that actually is, but we are also going to roll with it. There's going to be a lot of rolling with it today. There's going to be a lot of rolling with it, because if you can already tell from me reading the skills off, I am not I'm not a very great reader when it comes to reading aloud. So you are going to have to bear with me on this. Hopefully it's not too bad, and hopefully there's not a lot of uhs. I noticed that I've been doing that right now. So I will try my best. And I think that we're all set to go. This is kind of like a choose your own adventure. Whoops, did not mean to do that. There we go. This is kind of like a choose your own adventure kind of thing. And it's weird. It's weird. I'll just have to show you guys. I have not, the only thing that I read was the beginning part of this prologue right here. So, without further ado, let's give this a shot. Let me see if I am still recording. Yes, I am recording. Awesome. Okay, so Return to Deathwater by Curtis Norris. That's a very interesting name. So here's the prologue. You have always found the city's Natural History Museum a delightful place, full of masks, weapons, and other fascinating objects from faraway lands, and even more distant times. But oh, how slow and sleepy a class visit to one can become, especially when the tingling spring air calls for you outdoors, and the cool woods beckon. Fortunately, you have the company of your friend Eustace Clarence Scrubb, who, if you don't know, is from Dawn Treader and Silver Chair, I believe. Maybe he's in the last one. I know he was in Dawn Treader and Silver Chair. So, friend Eustace Clarence Scrubb, a friendly sort of fellow, for all the misfortune of his name. At the tail end of a shuffling group of classmates, he's trying to keep you entertained with another of his stories about the otherworldly land of Narnia. The tale is a rousing one, but you are glad that it is only a story. For you would hate making such difficult decisions yourself, which, as you know, is required of every true adventurer, which, wink wink. When the class arrives, When the class arrives at a display of pinned moths, Eustace moves to the front of the group to have a closer look. Not being the least bit interested in moths, you are left for the moment, alone, to seek your own diversion. Scroll down here. Looking about the echoing hall, its high, arcing ceiling makes you feel small and unimportant. You note a large alcove that you cannot remember having ever seen in the museum before. Curious, you separate from the group to see what is on exhibit there. You are not disappointed. A large stuffed lion lies among the ferns and low platform. No. Some ferns on a low platform. Whoops. First one. Ding. You got it? A lion larger and more beautiful than you. Than any of you. Hold on. A lion larger and more beautiful than any you have ever seen. Or. Whoops. Went down a little bit. Imagined. The attention to detail is marvelous. Why, it's almost as if the beast were alive. Delighted, you look about to see what else the alcove might have to offer. Sadly, there is nothing more within the tiny niche. But a heavy curtain covers the back wall with a sign that says "Keep Out" in bold black letters. Something very special must be behind that curtain, you think to yourself. Even more special than the extraordinary lion. Perhaps a little peek wouldn't hurt. But oh dear, your class is already moving on. First decision of the game. So if you return to class, turn to 142, which I assume is the numbers up there, which means we're going to have to find 142 within this. That's going to be delightful. Or if you go behind the curtain, turn to 328. Let's see. You know what? I think old Chandler is going to be brave and head behind the curtain. So let's go to 328. So let's try and figure this out. Whoops, I feel like I'm in the wrong. So I forgot the number already. 328. So let's just take 328. There's got to be an easier way to do this. There's got to be, and I'm just missing it. Okay, we're getting close. 313. There we go. We're getting close. 328. And I missed it because it jumped the page. Alright, so walking slowly past the lion. Was it a trick of the light, or did it wink at you? Ooh, the lion's winking at us. It's kind of not creepy at all. You slip behind the curtain. The heavy cloth brushes against your back as you feel blindly along the wall for a door. You edge toward what you imagine to be the middle of the curtain, and you still find nothing. Surely there must be an opening somewhere, you think to yourself, and continue to inch along the wall. The smooth marble slips past your fingertips. You reach the other end and emerge dusty and bewildered. So let's see if there's the next page. Your confusion turns to astonishment, however, when you find that the museum alcove has apparently become the hall of a magnificent castle, and the curtain a rich and lovely tapestry. The hall is long and pillared on both sides, and adorned with banners. More magnificent still are the people assembled there, men, women, and children, dressed in the fine yet simple garb of lords and ladies, stand at the far end with their backs to you. How wonderfully strange it all seems, but how did you get there? Could it be you slipped through a doorway behind the curtain without knowing it? Suddenly, you feel as though you are intruding on something very solemn and private. So let's see here. If you leave the hall, turn to page 355. If you hide and watch the people, turn to 379. If you want to approach the people, turn to 125. Let's say let's take a trip. Wow, that was a voice crack. Let's turn to 379. I think that Chandler is going to hide and watch the people. So let's get him to 379, they said, right? 379, right here. Skulking from pillar to pillar, you sneak down to the other end of the hall. Several nobles cluster at one column. You marvel at the fineness of their features and fairness of their skin. Then you spot something truly unbelievable. A large beaver is standing on his hind legs, wearing a green and black checked vest. Whoops. So strange and yet somehow familiar. And then from somewhere, it comes to you, Narnia. Could this really be the place Eustace told you about? The lords and ladies form a circle around a thin old man dressed in a shiny black robe, not unlike those worn by older students during commencement? I don't know what that is. The man seems very puzzled and tugs his scanty beard while muttering, "I do apologize, Your Majesty. I must have put too much root of," not going to pronounce that, into the powder. The child should have appeared right here. Why, I'm not fit to be called the head magician of Narnia. So it is Narnia. You wondered if the child the old man referred to could be you. Then another voice says, "Do not blame yourself, Volmar. There is little we can do in these matters if..." Okay, so here's the typo that I was talking about.